Chapter 62-28. Charlie praised, Uncle has considered it very comprehensively. Cooperating with secondary technical schools and colleges to train technical workers, and cooperating with universities to train high-end talents and incubate scientific research projects, this will comprehensively solve our future talent reserve problem. In the future, there will be a steady stream of outstanding young people joining our company. To a certain extent, it can also increase the attractiveness of Ores Hill universities to outstanding candidates across the country. Yes. Pollard nodded and said, the development of a city is like this, with the continuous accumulation of benefits and progress layer by layer. This is why all places are trying their best to attract investment, and the bigger the company they attract, the more resources the city can provide. The educational cooperation I just mentioned will be implemented very quickly once the city helps to make connections. It is very likely that the relevant majors will be completed this year and directly open for enrollment next year. Pollard said, speaking of the city's resources, we have to contact the relevant departments immediately after the company is announced to list our needs. Such as where and how large we need to start civil engineering, and what kind of support we need from the power supply department, water supply department, gas supply department, and transportation department. Large-scale manufacturing has a huge demand for electricity, which requires the power supply department to prepare in advance. When we choose a site in the future, we must take convenient transportation as the most important prerequisite. If the power supply lines there are not enough to support our needs, we have to ask the power department to carry out power transformation at the same time. Water and gas supply are not a big problem. The transportation department needs to help us solve the planning of commuter bus routes and material transportation routes. With their help, we can get twice the result with half the effort. Charlie and the Yin family did not expect Pollard to have considered this matter so comprehensively. It feels like he already has a complete blueprint and is just waiting for the opportunity to put the blueprint into action. Because of this, everyone's recognition of Pollard has reached an extreme level, and no one else wants the position of CEO except him. Marcus smiled and said, since everyone has reached a consensus, let's strike while the iron is hot and finalize it. The Yin family and the Wade family will jointly invest, and Professor Watt will be the CEO. Let's work together to make this thing bigger and stronger. Pollard had also made up his mind at this time and did not want to miss such a good opportunity to display his ambitions, so he said, when I come back from my wedding leave, I will tell the college about my resignation. It shouldn't take too long. I can participate in the preliminary preparations remotely first. Charlie nodded and said, then let Uncle Marcus move forward normally. I will ask the Wade family to send someone to help. Representatives will come to sign an agreement with the Yin family and reach an investment intention. Old man Nicola said, Charlie, tell your grandfather about this matter and see if he is willing to come. We haven't seen each other for a long time. I have offended him before. Take this opportunity to have a good chat with him and apologize. Charlie knew what his grandfather meant. After his parents were killed, the Yin family had always complained about the Wade family. So they ignored the family for so many years. Now that the Yin family and Charlie have reunited, they also know more about the inside story of all the years. So naturally, they don't have so much resentment towards Zheng Chuan. It was precisely because he had ignored Zheng Chuan before that Nicholas wanted to take this opportunity to reconcile with the Wade family. Although his daughter and son-in-law are no longer there, his grandson is still there, and the two families are still in-laws and relatives. Since they are relatives, it is reasonable to visit more often. After hearing this, Charlie also hoped that the two families could truly reconcile. In the past, he also blamed his grandfather for driving his parents out of the house. But later he realized that everything was done intentionally by his father in order not to drag them down. So the resentment in his heart has disappeared. Although he has become the actual head of the Wade family, from the perspective of outsiders, the head of the family is still his grandfather. So he might as well take this opportunity to let his grandfather come to Ores Hill so that the two sides can have a good reunion. So he agreed and said, okay, Grandpa, I will call Grandpa in a while to see what he has to say. I don't think he will refuse. When the time is set, we will have a meal together and have a good chat. Okay. Nicholas nodded heavily and said with emotion. The Yin family has indeed been a bit too much to Zhongquan in these years. When the time comes, I will toast him a glass of wine and apologize to him in person.